So today we're here with Joshlin Long. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into the testimony part?
Yes, so I'm Joshlin, and I basically grew up in Altoona. I'm a construction estimator currently with my parents at their construction company. I got married last summer, bought a house, just doing that whole thing, and just serving at the church.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love seeing what God's doing in you. So, you grew up in a Christian home with a great faith-based, family. But there was a time when, stuff was a little hard and you kind of walked away from some of that. Tell us what that journey was like.
Well, like you said, I did grow up in a home where I was constantly in church. Faith was always what we knew, and the best parents, and they did what was right. But when it was around college time for me, got into the wrong relationships and just went down the wrong path, and then spent my college years doing the common story that happens. You know, you party and drink, and I was just living life for myself and not at all caring about what God wanted or His plan or anything. And it was a hard time. I mean, sin is fun for a season, but at the same time, I just remember always feeling empty and longing for more, and that I was in control of making sure my life was okay. And that was an inner storm and unpeace constantly at that time.
I like that you said there was an unpeace there. Mm-hmm. So you went through that season and you were trying to probably figure out things. At that age, we're trying to figure out who are we and where are we going and what does life look like. And it is a hard season, but there was something then that you probably said to yourself, or something happened that changed that direction for you. What was that for you?
It was an experience. So when I was a senior, again, got into a wrong relationship, and it was with a guy I met at school, and we had gotten engaged on a hush-hush situation. It was just kind of between me and him. And I had planned on moving to Charlotte upon graduation, and he kind of just jumped on that train. And we had plans that at the end of the summer after graduation, we would move to Charlotte. Well, he was going back home to California for the summer, and about 2 weeks into that, he broke off the engagement, canceled all the plans, and that was just heartbreaking, completely shattered everything. And it was that moment that I only knew God was the only way that I was going to get out of that pain, of that rock bottom situation. And my mom, she got the word out, got me verses, and we confessed day and night over the situation. And it was about 2 weeks after that the epic pain, the depression just lifted. And I just know that if it wasn't for pressing into God and welcoming Him back into my life and my situation, that could have gone on for a very long time. And then that was kind of my 180 but God moment that brought me back.
Yeah, for sure. I know, when you go through something like that was unexpected, and then that depression wants to lay there, and Satan wants it to stay there. So we have to do things to get out of that. And I love that your mom came alongside you and brought you verses and things to speak forth in your life. And so, you went through that journey, you were getting back on track. And where do you think God is taking you now?
Okay, so I learned there that if the Word can heal my heart and give me peace and give me freedom back, I learned that anything in the Word then is true if I believe it.
Right.
And that's kind of where from then to now, walking out the Word and believing it and seeing it come to pass, and my life is just so full now. And I love ministry, I love the Word, and I want to minister to others in that way, show them that the Word is true, and that if they bring Him in, they bring the Word into the situation, they speak it and believe it above what they're facing, they will have the outcome of the Word. And I think that was the biggest part of my testimony. Is the 180 was great, but I learned that Jesus is the truth and His Word is true, and it actually really works and has just come to pass in my life time after time.
I know your parents pretty well, and I know what they brought you up into. And still, yet you made a choice at a time to walk away from that. Even though we're brought up in a Christian home, we have to find out for ourselves, right? So what would you say if someone, well, I know all the right answers, but how do I get to the relationship part of it? How do I start to really believe it for myself?
Yeah, it had to become my faith. Like, my parents showed me faith,
Right.
and were such a good example, and like had me in opportunities and experiences in the presence of the Lord. But I hadn't got to that place yet where it had to become my relationship, my faith, my walk.
Right.
And I made my own decisions that put me in a situation that I needed it to be my faith. And you can choose. Like, if you don't have to go to the devastating end to
Right.
just decide, I want Jesus, I want that relationship. You can just start seeking him out in daily relationship, talking to him, getting in the word, worshiping. You don't have to go through something hard. But if you do, just lean into him and just say, I choose to believe this because maybe there's nothing else out there. There isn't anything else out there that'll get you there.
Right. So you're married now, and you guys are in ministry doing some things. Tell us about some things that you're doing now since the change in your life. What are some things you've moved in with Josh?
So we recently were asked to help lead up the young adults ministry at church, which is super fun because young adults is passionate for me because I was a young adult that was lost and making mistakes, and that's when I had my, turn to the Lord. So I love that age range of figuring life out and everything. So that's been really fun serving together. And I also do an online blog ministry where I can just talk about the word and explain this is true, this is real, this is for you. So yeah, that's kind of where God's shown up.
And both of those things are amazing. And I really do love that you're working with the young adults because that's an age group that sometimes gets missed, and they're going through a transition really from high school to then what, they're kind of put out there.
Yep.
And it's a hard time, right?
Oh, it's so hard. Yeah. That's you just don't know. Sometimes you can feel but once you're out, it's all the world just comes in, you just don't understand prior to that. And it's hard to navigate, is this feeling right? Or is this thought right? And you just need a compass at that point. You need people around you that are believing the Lord and the word to help you stay focused and not get off on the wrong path. Because for me, it was relationships, it was people that did not believe that pulled me one way or the other. So creating a group, creating a young adult space for people in that age range, I think is just going to help that not happen for some people.
Yeah, relationships are so important, and they can really direct you either to the negative or to the positive. So it's important to surround yourself with the right people that can encourage and build into you.
Yeah.
So where do you think God is taking you in the next few years?
Oh man, I don't I know I have visions of books and podcasts and just trying to pull in the community here of young adults. Me and Josh were just at the campus just inviting anybody that we saw to come to our worship night, and
awesome.
I want people to come. I want to get with young adults and help them shift their focus and find Jesus and just get more for themselves.
Yeah, that's really good with the Penn State campus because we do have that right here available to you to really pour into and reach into. That's really cool. I hope many people do come in. I think that you guys have such a heart for the things of God. You have a great foundation to stand on, and I know he's going to just pour into that in mighty, mighty ways. So I'm excited.
Yes.
Even my son, I was like, oh, he's going to be turning 18 soon, and he can join that
Yeah, we're
group
so excited.
because I trust what you guys are doing, and I know it's a great thing. So if you were to give advice to someone that's, struggling in your age group, what would you say to them?
Well, number one, check who's around you. If somebody's, not focused on what you want to be focused on, even if you're not where you want to be, get somebody that is where you want to be. Find people that are going to constantly point you to the Lord and not point you to anything else. And get in the Word. I think that can be, sometimes people don't want to do that because it's reading and studying, but there's so much truth in there, and it literally transforms your life. It's alive, it's real, it's constantly working. And once you know what the word says, then you can put your faith there and believe to walk in that, and it then shuts down all the lies. You can totally see when Satan's lying to you or bringing something in your path that's not right. So relationships and the word.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, I just want to thank you for joining us, sharing a little bit about your life and showing that, hey, even when you grow up in a Christian home, sometimes we get off track, but God's so gracious and so loving to pull you back in, and that's what he did, and you're moving forward in such a great way. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.